Expansive, expressive, extraordinary. Light and sights and lines of sight. A symphony of shapes and sounds that are reflective of New Orleans.
The project consists of Concourse A, the international terminal, and we have Concourse B and C, each with approximately 15 gates.
It will replace the existing south side terminal. It includes the north garage, the roadways, the apron, everything. But this project is actually a component of the post-Katrina recovery. It was a child of that recovery.
Coming out of the air and into an airy, bright, gleaming space that was designed to provide an experience, to represent both the past and the future of New Orleans.
There was a desire to have those two contrasts so that this airport did represent the future and the modern future of the city, of a very old city. But from a design standpoint, certain characteristics of New Orleans that are conveyed in a sort of subliminal or subtle level inside the design of the terminal. You know, in New Orleans, nobody says north, south, east, or west because everything is turning.
The design, curving and turning and flowing, following the path of the Louisiana landscape, of the mighty Mississippi. There's a rhythm to a city. There's a rhythm here, created by man and machine, the tools of the trade used by craftsmen and women and design professionals, all showing off their pride and their handiwork.
To me, that's one of the favorite parts of the project, is just the team interaction and problem solving. So many design professionals that are needed on a complex building type like an airport. There's so many different systems that all have to be integrated and tied together.
Working to make sure that this will be a destination worth remembering.
It's really nice to walk along this big curved glass as you go to the concourses. People will remember this place.
Airports are the gateway to a city.
Well, passengers coming in will have a much nicer open space place for them to travel. Really adds to the gateway of the city as well. You know, when you come into a major international airport, your first impressions when you get off the plane is what that terminal looks like. And so this will really enhance the overall for New Orleans and for everyone coming in, is both for the visitors that they get on a regular basis, but also for the professional, for the business class to come in. A lot of times these airports are really the portal into the city.
First impressions leave lasting impressions.
Flying in, a new passenger will walk into a very state-of-the-art, very light, intensive environment. This design, the architect put the curtain wall glazing on the perimeter, and usually the airport concessionaires are built on the perimeter and they shade the light, but in this one, the concessionaires are in the middle of the concourse.
There's been a rebirth of New Orleans since Katrina, with the Superdome being redone, and that has become a focal point. But now you've got an airport that becomes a focal point. As people come in to visit this city, the first thing they're going to experience is a brand new terminal, and the welcoming, the open air, the bright light, all the natural light that's coming in this new facility is going to be a completely different experience than if they're coming into the existing old terminal now.
The old needed a new, a redo, a renew.
Well, the existing terminal is really, frankly, it's old, it's dated, it's very segmented as well, so they have to have multiple TSA checkpoints, which increase cost, increase the amount of time it takes passengers to get out to the terminal facilities. But the facility, it was just dated overall, and ultimately the brand new terminal was deemed more effective, a better use of the space and the funds than trying to rehab the old one.
To accommodate more people coming into the city or heading out into the world.
This airport is viewed as a primary economic driver to bringing more and more people into New Orleans, both for tourism and business, and to allow the airport as a mid-size airport to be even more competitive than it was in the past.
The idea is that we will be able to grow with this airport. New Orleans is a major destination for conventions and festivals and tourism. We know how to handle people, and this airport will help us handle people.
What I really like about economic development is we improve the quality of lives in our communities. You know, this building here is certainly a place that someone could leave Louisiana or come to Louisiana. Gives them a taste of what Louisiana is all about, specifically what the city of New Orleans means in tourism and the preservation of our history and our French lifestyle.
Louisianans are strong and resilient, and so must their airport be.
Its completion will represent or symbolize the city of New Orleans has moved past the post-Katrina recovery period. It's the last major project of the recovery, and it's moving into a future where New Orleans is a more resilient and economically viable city.
This first introduction to New Orleans isn't just for show. From baggage handling systems to check-in, every bit of it must be seamless.
I think a traveler's first impression will be greatly improved with this airport. The monumental space and the collected security checkpoints should make traveling easier as well.
Baggage claim is more consolidated. The old airport has 11 bag claim devices. We have 7. It's more efficient.
This facility must be safe and secure, hurricane resistant.
Early on, we had identified and recommended a detailed wind tunnel study done. So a scale model of the airport was constructed and put in a wind tunnel. That model has thousands of wind pressure sensors on it. The model is put in the wind tunnel on a turntable and is subjected to winds that replicate what the real-life hurricane wind forces would be. So then we use those pressures in the design of the structure and the cladding and the glazing system to make sure all of those systems are hurricane resistant.
Planning for people's comfort is key.
So what we provided there on that circulation space, we provided radiant floor for heating and cooling. So by doing that, we were able to cut the airflow that supplies that space in half, and we eliminated 2 air handlers supplying that, and the linear diffusers, the floor linear diffuser in that space. There was something that also helped on the energy savings.
The Big Easy lives up to its name here. Big and bold and easy to get where you're going. Wayfinding is intuitive. Travelers pass through a single security checkpoint.
You arrive on the top and your ticketing is there, and then you come into the space and go down to the second level, and that's where the big windows are. So you don't need signs to find your way around here, hopefully too much. You might, what concourse, if you're going A, B, C, the usual. It's all very logical.
And what's happening behind the scenes is by no means a small feat.
So the contractor on this one used a fully robotic concrete slip form paver. The benefits to that technology with the robotics is that they didn't have to have any survey set up before the concrete was done. So all of the string lines that create the trip hazards and the effort that goes into setting those up, they didn't have to do any of those. The paving machine itself can come through and adjust on the fly to any of the surveyed changes or variation in the pavement.
Live music, local food, and art greet you, inviting you to appreciate what the city has in store.
The Aviation Board decided that they would incorporate the culinary history of New Orleans and the musical history. The vast majority of the restaurants are local restaurants, local vendors, local bars, local retail. You're going to feel that sort of sense or essence of the city in its presentation in food and retail. Alongside that, at the bottom of the atrium on the arrivals hall is a round bandstand, and it will be quite active. There's a central feature. Right now it's a black wall in the central atrium, but that is going to be a very large glass installation that has some live oak trees in the winter fog, which is a very characteristic feeling here. So it symbolizes a visual in the city more than any other visual.
Well, we want people to come to our state. We want people to visit our state. We want people to become a part of our state. What this project will do is it'll welcome people in unlike any other. I mean, it's a beautiful building. But when they get off an airplane and they walk into what you'll see in this building, you'll see a number of restaurants, all of which are Louisiana restaurants. You'll see a flair, you'll see art, you'll see everything that simplifies what Louisiana is about, and it's about simple humanity. It's about people being together, and it's about a feeling of being a part of something unlike you ever have before.
Food and music and culture converge to urge visitors and residents alike to partake and appreciate and navigate safely, securely, beautifully.